Welcome everybody to a Code Peterson tutorial, and we're in this MIT App Inventor series. Today is the day where we're going to make our first app, so pretty exciting. I do have one video before this one if you haven't checked it out, showing kind of what you need to get started. It's not required. You can pretty much pick up with where we're starting today if you're joining in for the first time. And we're going to make an app that is like it's going to have a button and you push it and it makes a buzzer. So we're making a buzzer button app. Sounds pretty simple, but during this process, you're going to learn how to bring in some multimedia to an app. You're going to learn the developer environment for MIT App Inventor. You're going to learn how to add some code for some different elements and how to put everything together. So we're learning a lot of kind of basics to put together a foundation, and you'll end up having an app that then you could modify and make changes to kind of play around with it as you continue learning. So let's go ahead and begin. We'll go over here to create apps. I'm just at that MIT App Inventor site that we talked about before, and this little welcome comes up. I'll click continue. So I'll go here to start a blank project, and the project name, I'm going to call this one Buzzer App. I just put it all as one word and all lowercase except for when there's a second word combined to the first word, then I capitalize that one. And toolkit and theme will leave as default and click OK. And it takes us to this screen. Don't get scared. Don't get overwhelmed. There is a lot of things that pop up here when you get here. And there are some things in here that I've never played around with that I don't know. And just, you're not going to break anything by playing around with it. But to give you an idea, this is all the things we can add to our app on the left-hand side. And it's divided by categories, and they're searchable, which is nice because it is easy to remember or easy to forget which category they're in. In the middle here, we have our screen. It's kind of our little, how does this look when we are putting this together? And you can change those dimensions of your phone and all that if you want. And then on the right-hand side, this area, every time we add something to our app, it's going to put it in kind of a tree directory so you can be organized in there and see where everything's at. And then we have our media, which is anytime we add a audio file or a picture or anything like that, they'll show up right here. And when we have anything selected, you can change the attributes on the right-hand side. So for example, this screen one, if I look over here on the right-hand side, I can change the background color. I'm going to have the background color be white. It's on default, but I'm just going to set it to white so that whenever this app is on, it's always going to have a white background. Most of the things you can rename, but screen one, you can't rename screen one. It's like if you're doing web design or web coding HTML, your homepage always has to be called index.html. In the world of MIT App Inventor, your home screen is always called screen one. You can put some information on there about the about screen and all that, but we're not going to get too much into that in this one because we want to just get to making this app. So first thing we can do is we can go over here to our layout, and they have these different containers that you can use if you want to kind of make your app look more polished. So this particular app, I want everything kind of in the center on here and stacked on top of each other. I don't want my text to be on one side, then the button to be on the other. So this vertical arrangement looks handy. So I'll click and drag that, and I'll bring it in here. And you'll see it says, it has it outlined, and on the side it says vertical arrangement 1. And I might rename that and call this one screen 1 arrangement. And again, I just keep all this as one word and then make the next word start with a capital, and then I'll click OK, and you can see it renames it on here. And I want my stuff to be centered, so if I go here, I want this alignment to be centered, but I want the vertical alignment to be from the top. I want it to start up here, and then we'll work our way down. And then down here where it says height, I'll leave it as automatic for now, that's fine. And then for width though, I'm going to go, you can either go fill parent, or I could go width of 100%. In this case, either way is fine. So I'll go fill parent, and you'll see it stretches from one end to the other. All right, now I don't need an image in there or anything, but I do want to change my background color to white. There we go. Okay, now I thought it would be nice to put some text in here so people know what this app is when it opens up. So if we go here on the left-hand side and we find our label, we can click and drag our label, and I want to bring it in to this. Like, see, if I drag it here, it nests it kind of organized there and it tabs it. If I accidentally, if I delete that out of there and I had accidentally brought it below there, you can see here now it's not tabbed over. So you can, it shows you kind of where it is in there, and it makes a difference because now when I move that label into this, that it has everything centered in it, because it's in there, it takes on those properties and it moves that to the center of that container. This label, I'll rename it, and we can call this one app title label. Now, why do you need to name these? We're not going to have a ton on this app, but if you start having multiple labels, and especially with buttons, man, anytime we add buttons, which we're going to add a few to this, when we get to the coding part, it's hard to remember, like, oh, was that button 3 or button 4? And so if we name everything specifically now, it makes the coding part a lot easier and a lot faster when we get to that part of our app development process. Okay, back to this. We're centered in there. For the font size, I'm going to switch this to 36. And I might make it be font bold. You do have some typefaces in here. You can have it be default. You can have it be sans serif if you don't want the fancy schmancies at the end of the letters, or if you want it to be serif, then you can have it be that, or you can have it be monospace. That's kind of our options for that. I am a sans serif kind of person, so I'm going to leave mine like that. And then down here for the height and the width, I'm not going to worry about that. Yeah, I'm going to leave that there. And then down here where it says text, I'm going to type in Buzzer app version 1. And there we have our text on there. For the text alignment, I'm going to have it be centered. Since it's centered in here, I'm going to have it be centered right there. And then for the text color, I'm going to go with some red. And that gets us started with our app. That's our first thing we added on there. All right, now the next thing I want to do is I need to add a button. And if I go over here to user interface, we have a button. So I'll click and drag that underneath the Buzzer app, but still inside my little arrangement container here. And then I'll rename this, and I'm going to call this one Buzzer Button. All right, now this doesn't look that cool for a button in there. So I want to find an actual button. If you remember in our last tutorial, we talked about this site called Pixabay. If I go here to illustrations and I search for button, then I have all these free buttons in here. Kind of depends on what you're looking for. I like this red one right here. So if I chose this one, I go to download, and I want these to be as small of a file size as possible to where it still looks nice. So 640 by 640 is going to be plenty on for a mobile device. We do have some limitations for MIT App Inventor, so we're just trying to make sure that, you know, when somebody downloads an app, it works as perfect as it can without any lag or anything like that. So we have this, then I could go to download. Now, once you have it downloaded, you'll see I have this already downloaded and prepared, but then if you right click on it and you go to rename, then you can change the name. And I like to change these media assets to be something easy. For those of you who have watched my HTML and web design videos, like let's just make the coding easier. So instead of calling it, red underscore button underscore graphic, something that's cumbersome to type later if we needed to, I'm just going to call it button. So we have that downloaded. And now I want to make this button look like that picture. So we could go over here to upload file in our media section. And then we'll choose our file and we'll go to where we have that button downloaded. In my case, it was in the downloads folder. We'll click OK. And then if I select this button where it says image and it says none, we can go here to button and click OK. And it's going to be pretty gigantic in there, pretty gigantic. Something that gets a little bit glitchy with MIT App Inventor, they're always working out the kinks, it's kind of a work in progress. To me, it would make a lot of sense if I said the width was 100% and the height was automatic. That's how I would do it if I was creating this on a website, something of that nature. But it doesn't really do that properly. So what I'm going to do in this case, with this button, I'm going to try like 200 pixels tall and 200 pixels wide. Let's see how that looks. That's actually pretty good. Coincidence enough. We have that just about the same width as this. And I know my phone isn't going to get smaller than 200 pixels to where that'll fit in there. So I'm hoping they get that fixed. If you look and search that online, you'll see that's a problem people run into a lot with images. So this is kind of my workaround for it with pixels. That looks good. Now with the text in here, some people might not want the text to show up in there. So if that's the case, you can either erase text for button 1, or you can also go here. I usually go down here to default for text color and switch it to none. I'm actually going to go white. I'm going to have it show up. So we'll go like 24. We'll see what this looks like. And then I'll have it be bold. And then we can go, instead of text for button 1, we could say press for buzzer. Change this font size, maybe just a little bit smaller. Let's try 18. There we go, and we have it centered. So the text is in there, so it lets the user kind of know what we're doing for this. And I think that doesn't look too bad. And again, you might want to remove your text out of there. That's totally fine. It's your app. You get to make it how you want to. The last thing I want to have is maybe some way to exit out of this app, just so we have 2 buttons on here. So go back over here to button, click and drag it over here. And then it says text for button 1, and I will rename this one, and I will call this one quit button. That's how we're going to exit out. Might make the font bold. And in here, I'm going to choose for the text, hold to quit. And with this, you can choose whatever color you want for that. They have some different things that you can use for this, like even if you wanted to change the default shape, for example, if you want it to be rounded, you can change it for that if you'd like. All sorts of things. You can change the color of the button, you can change the color of the text. Be as creative with that as you want. As we learn more about this through this series, you'll learn about wanting to be kind of consistent with everything, so everything kind of looks nice and like everything matches, to have it be polished. This is pretty simple, so it's going to look kind of generic, but it still looks like a nice little layout for us to use on there. Okay, so we have our label, we have two buttons. They've both been labeled. We do want to have a sound that's going to play. So for this, I think it's under media. Here we go. And then they have sound. And if I click and drag sound on here, you'll notice here it drops it down here because sound is a non-visible component. It says sound 1, so I want to rename that, and I will call this one buzzer sound. Buzzer sound is in there. Then if I have this selected and I look on the right hand side, it doesn't have a source. I don't have a buzzer sound for it. So we'll go back over here to Pixabay. Go back, and if I go back a few times till I'm on their home page, and if I go here to sound effect and I search for buzzer, this one here, 1 second, so I know it's going to be a small file size. Buzzer or wrong answer. That's what I'm talking about. So we'll click on that. That's a good sound for it. Solid. All right, so just like last time with the picture, we'll download that and it puts it in there. Okay, so we downloaded that file, and just to show you in my downloads folder, I did rename that one already and called it Buzz, just so it's easier to remember and to type if I need to later. And for the source, I'm going to upload a file. I'm going to choose file and upload that MP3 file. And we are in good shape. The app looks good. We have all of our elements on here. Now we just need to make it so these elements actually work. So to do that, we've been in designer mode this whole time. We're now going to go into blocks mode. This is like where we do the coding. They have pre-built buttons in here, and you can also kind of code your own buttons. You do have some flexibility with this. But everything that we have in that app is represented by some of these categories in here. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to have, like when I push that button, it plays that audio sound. So if I look over here and I find my screen 1 option, and it's like, okay, here is my buzzer button. I'm going to click on that, and then I have all of these options. This one here says when buzzer button dot click, then it's going to do something. That is what I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and then I can move it here. And you know, where if you're a regular coder, you like to be organized. So I try to have my blocks together in certain areas that are related. If I right click on this and I go to add comment, puts a little question mark on there, and then I can put on here, clicking on button plays buzzer sound. All right, and then that's just kind of a way, like if you followed any of my Python programming tutorials, you'll see where we put comments in there. And so if you're a teacher doing this, this might be something you have your students do. So when they take a screenshot of that and share it with you, then they understand, they're showing you that they understand what these components do, and you know that they didn't just like look off a neighbor or something like that. So it kind of helps with that and makes your code organized. So if you want to make changes later. Okay, so when the buzzer is clicked, then I want to go over here and I want to go to buzzer sound. And it says, the first thing I'm going to do is go call buzzer sound play. So I'll bring that in there. Now, if I push the button too many times, it's going to keep playing the buzzer over the top of itself, and it's going to not sound very good, or maybe freeze my app. So sometimes what I'll do in this case is if I go back over to buzzer sound and I select call buzzer sound stop, and then I bring that right above, click and drag and right above play. Then if it's already playing and then I accidentally bumped the play button again, then it's going to stop the current buzz sound, and then it'll play the buzz sound again from scratch. It just kind of cleans up the execution of that command a little bit. Then if you remember, we wanted to have that exit button, and we said when you hold it, it's going to close. So we'll go here to our quit button, and you'll see there's when it's clicked, there's when it's long clicked, when you press down on it, or when you release the button on it. There's some options with that. But I'm going to choose the long click, and then I am going to search in here. I just can click anywhere, and I'm going to search for close application. Here's one. So I'm going to click on that, and it brings this nice little block in here, and I can find it. So if I was looking for this close application, it might, no, it's not in procedures. So as you could see, some of these on here, it's like, man, I don't know where that one is. I can't find it. I'm not sure where that's at. And then, oh, there's a close screen and a close application. So that might have taken me a while to look through all of those. If you kind of know what it might be called, you just click anywhere on here and start typing, and you can search that way for these blocks too. All right, click on this. Add a comment, click on the little question mark. Holding button will close application. Looks good. We have all our code on there. That's perfect. We go back over here to Designer, and I think we are ready to test this out. So they have different ways you can do this. You can install the emulator and those things, and kind of do these different ways to test your app. I am going to test mine just on my phone myself here. Yours, you can do yours kind of however you want, but if you're going to download it and test on your phone, or if it's done the first time and everything works great and you're ready for it to be on your phone or to share it with others, then I could go here to build, and I'm going to go androidapp.apk. And once it's done, it gives us our QR code on there. So like I said, I'm going to have my phone here. I'll go to my camera and point to this QR code, click on that, and it says it might be harmful. I created this so I can trust myself, so I'm going to go download anyway. If you're using an app from someone else, do that at your own discretion, obviously. And then once that app is downloaded, then we can go to our downloads folder. And I have my Buzzer app APK that I downloaded just now. All right, so I'll click on that. And it says, do you want to install this app? Yes. And yours may ask you, do you want to scan it? So to do that, I'll say, sure, scan the app. And it says it looks safe, so I'll go to install. It says it's installed. I'll click where it says open. And here is our app on here. Okay, so let's try this out. Make sure my audio is on. Press the buzzer so you can hear that worked. Now I'm going to try to press it rapid fire multiple times so we see how that works. So you can see where it cuts itself short and then it starts playing again. And now if I want to quit out of the app, I can press on it fast and you'll see nothing's happening. But if I click and hold on it, then it closes out. Okay, if I go back here and I look at all my apps on here, you could see here at the top, my Buzzer app is found right there. There it is. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you have ideas for other apps you want us to build for other videos in the tutorials. I do have some ideas in mind, but if there's something that is more relevant to what you're trying to build out there, I'd be happy to help you with it. As always, thank you for your time, and I hope you all have a great day.